Hello, everyone. Okay, how's everyone doing today? Hopefully well. Yeah, day is going good so far. And we are at the end of Esther. Going to finish up Esther today. This last portion is quite just a fun thing, really. I'll point out a few things. That's fairly straightforward. That at this time frame, because of the success that God bestowed upon the folks, that they instituted a festival, and they call it Purim. And it's due to the word pure, P-U-R, which means lots. And we'll show you here just briefly that the way that Haman actually found out the date that he was going to do it, he thought he was doing it based on his gods, the pagan gods. And they basically cast lots, and that selected the day and the month that this was going to happen. So that's why they call it the feast of the festival of Purim. And it's actually one of the official festivals of the Jewish nation, and they celebrate it to this day. And so we'll take a look at that, and we'll start with prayer. Thank you, Father, so much that we got a chance to take a look at this book of Esther, and to see how it fits into Jewish history, and that it became a festival of realizing that of giving to one another and to taking care of the poor, and it turned out to be a great holiday and we look forward to the things that you give us in memory of this, and that they do this in a way to show their love for you and giving to others. In Jesus' precious name I pray, amen. That's how you can almost look at it, because one of the attributes of it is that they would actually give gifts to each other, but also they made sure that they took care of the poor. So it's a time maybe somewhat similar to Christmas, a little bit like Christmas, a little bit like a masquerade party, and we'll get into that just a little bit. And a little bit like Thanksgiving, when maybe one of the things they might do during this time frame is they actually might feed the poor or bring gifts to the poor. It was a way of just celebration over this the great fortune that God had allowed the Jewish people through Esther to achieve. What's interesting, though, I found out about it is that the reason they dress up in costumes, and it made more sense to me after I realized it, is that Esther means hidden, and that during this, and if you notice, we discussed this a few times, that during this entire book, God is not mentioned, and it's to symbolize the fact that God is hidden. He's in the background, but he's always watching out for us, always taking care of us, whether or not he's visible or not. And so they dress up in costumes to symbolize that idea of hiding. You remember that at first Esther was told by Mordecai to hide her identity from the king, to protect her, and that's kind of like why they dress up. They dress up to kind of like hide their identity in honor of Esther, and also of the fact that God is always watching us, no matter whether we realize He's there or not. And so let's get to some verses. We left off, let's say, at verse 19. So we'll pick up at verse 20, and we'll finish the chapter 9 and chapter 10. Chapter 10 is like 3 verses, so we'll take care of the whole thing today. And let's get what's up here. Starting off in verse 20. And Mordecai wrote these things. And as a note, as I'm at this sentence here in 9:20, some people wonder who wrote Esther. Was it Esther? And actually, this kind of tells us that probably who wrote the book too is Mordecai, because he says it right here. And Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in all the provinces of King Xerxes, both near and far. To establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month of Adar, and the 15th day of the same yearly. So it ended up being a 2-day festival. Continuing on, and the 14th and 15th, because the Jewish calendar is different than ours, they do their leap year and they make adjustments to the calendar a different way than we do, so that the dates float around. Just as an example, this year Purim was on February 25th and 26th, and this past February, but the next one coming up in 2022 is actually going to be March 16th and 17th. So if you see your Jewish friends getting ready to celebrate, it's quite a celebration on the 16th and 17th of March. You'll know what's going on. And verse 22, as the days wherein the Jews rested from their enemies, and a month which was turned unto them from sorrow to joy, and from mourning into a good day, that they should make them days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions one to another and gifts to the poor. So this is the mandate. And some things just to mention about this. Talking about joy over in Psalms 30:11. We see here that thou hast turned from me my mourning into dancing. Thou hast put off my sackcloth and girded me with gladness. Dancing is included in it. I noticed I was watching some videos about Purim. I was going to play one, but I decided they're kind of long. And if you want to look them up, they're quite interesting. They celebrate all over the world. I happened to see one video. It was right in New York City, and the Jews were dancing in the street on Purim. And I noticed these 3 gentlemen dressed in Orthodox clothes, kind of like with their arms around each other in a big circle, and just kind of turning around in a circle and dancing, singing some sort of a song they sing during this time. But also talking about the poor also over in Deuteronomy. It gives us a mandate that God has about the poor. Deuteronomy 15, verses 7 through 11. If there be among you a poor man of one of the brethren within any of thy gates, in thy land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thy heart, nor shut thine hand from the poor brother. But thou shalt open thine hand wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his needs, and that which he wanted. Beware that there be not a thought in the wicked heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release is at hand, and thine eye be evil against thy poor brother, and thou give him not, and he cry unto the Lord against thee, and it would be a sin unto thee. I'll explain that verse real quick. That every 7 years all debts are forgiven, and that sometimes what God's trying to say here is, if it's close to that 7-year mark, don't forsaking to loaning of money to your brother if he's in need. That'll be a sin charged against you if you use the fact that it's almost time for the forgiving of sin, of forgiving of debts, and so you use that as an excuse not to loan it. That's what that means. Deuteronomy 15:10. Then shalt thou surely give him, and thine heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him, because that for this thing the Lord the God shall bless thee in all the works, and all thou purest thine hand unto. For the poor shall never cease out of the land. Therefore I command thee, saying, thou shalt open thine hand wide unto thy brother, to the poor and to the needy in the land. That's a mandate by God to all of us, that we should always be watchful and help out our brother. I think that's why I really do believe that our food bank ministry is important. It's a mandate by God. And I've heard people say, that maybe it can be some people will go there just out of greed. Well, that's not our place to decide that. And that's really in God's hands. Okay, back to Esther, verse 9:23. And the Jews undertook to do as they had begun, as Mordecai had written unto them. Because Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had devised against the Jews to destroy them, and had cast Pur, that is, the lot, to consume them and to destroy them. Yeah, you remember when Mordecai actually went to the soothsayers, the guys that had these like kind of like dice-looking things, I guess it would be. And that's mentioned over in Esther 3:7. I'll just read it here. In the first month, that is the month Nisan, in the 12th year of King Xerxes, they cast Pur, that is the lot, before Haman for day to day and from month to month, to the 12th month, that is the month Adar. So in other words, they threw the dice and they picked the day, and it would be in the 13th. And then they picked, and then he rolled the dice, and it came up again which month to use, and it came up the month of the 12th month of Adar. So that's how Haman decided, and that's how I got its name, because he casted lots to make that decision. This ain't unheard of, by the way. It's actually God ordained that it's okay to do it this way, to select, to do certain selections that way. And so, some other examples in the Bible. Besides here in Esther 3:7, or in Leviticus 16:8, and Aaron shall cast lots upon the two goats, one lot for the Lord and the other lot for the scapegoat. Whenever they would pick the sacrificial goat, they would actually pick two, and one will be set free and the other will be sacrificed. And they would cast lots to make that decision. Over in Numbers 26:55, notwithstanding the land shall be divided by lot according to the names of the tribes of their fathers, they shall inherit. So when they made the decision of what pieces of property each tribe was going to get in Israel, they actually cast lots to figure that out. Joshua over in 18:10, and Joshua cast lots for them in Shiloh before the Lord, and there Joshua divided the land unto the children of Israel according to their divisions. Over in Proverbs 16:33, the lot is cast into the lap, but the whole disposing thereof is of the Lord. I think what they're trying to say here is basically is that the Lord will help direct the decision. And this is kind of an interesting term to me because I'm not sure of this, but it seems like they use it quite a bit. And the time that comes to mind is the one in Acts we're going to get to here in a minute, where they chose the disciple based on lots. Here in Proverbs 18:18, the lot causeth contention to cease and parteth between the mighty. So it's somewhat of a fair way to make a decision between two plans, I guess you would say. John 1:7, and they said, every one to his fellow, come and let us cast lots, that we may know for whose cause this evil is upon us. So they cast lots, and the lot fell upon Jonah. I guess that's how they decided who was going to go talk to Nineveh. Matthew 27:35. And they crucified him and parted his garments, casting lots, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by prophet. They parted my garments among them, and upon my vesture did they cast lots. That happened, the clothing that Jesus wore. And last but not least, over in Acts 1:26. And they gave forth their lots, and their lot fell upon Matthias, and he was numbered with the 11 apostles. So, just some other examples of when lots were used in the Bible. Back to Esther 9:25. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded by letters that his wicked device, which he devised against the Jews, should return upon his own head, and that he and his sons should be hanged on the gallows. So this is just remembering what happened to Haman's sons who were hanged on the gallows. We talked about that yesterday. And that happened over in Esther 7:10. I'll just show it here. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. That was the king's wrath pacified. So this is the gallows they used because Haman had built a gallows to take care of who he was going to take care of. So now it was used against him. And that's basically what it was saying there, that what you devised as an evil plot is now going to be on you. So it's coming back on you. Okay, Esther 9:26. Wherefore they called these days Purim after the name of Pur. Therefore, for all the words of this letter and of that which they have seen concerning this matter, and which have come unto them. The Jews ordained and took upon them and upon their seed and upon all such as joined themselves unto them, so as it should not fall, that they would keep these 2 days according to their writing and according to their appointment time every year. And this is talked about also, talking about joined over in Isaiah 56:3. Neither let thy son or the stranger that hath joined himself to the Lord speak, saying, the Lord hath utterly separated me from his people. Neither let the eunuch say, behold, I am a dry tree. In other words, that's to be accepting to strangers that are in your land. Zechariah 2:11, and many nations shall be joined to the Lord in that day, and shall be my people, and I will dwell in the midst of them. And they shall know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me unto thee. So again, talking about this being joined together. Okay, back to Esther 9:28. And that these days should be kept remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city, and that these days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews, nor a memorial of them perish from thy seed. So I thought I found this neat write-up about this particular thing. And so let me just read it off here. Get myself out of the way for a minute. And this is what happens even to this day, what happens at Purim. On the first day, remember I mentioned it was 2 days. In our day, the Feast of Purim is commemorated by the Orthodox Jews first in their synagogues as a celebration of gladness, and is concluded by the reading of the book of Esther. As they read it, they spit, and as the name of Haman is mentioned, and I understand that they can use 1 or 2 expressions. Let his name be blotted out, or let him be accused. So that's the first day. They have a feast. They have a type of service in the synagogue. And then on the second day, then the following day, they come together for a joyful service, because there's a feast that celebrates the fact of God has delivered them. And they include in subsequent deliveries, such as that from the German atrocities. So they also pick that same day to another time that God saved the remnant of them from being completely annihilated, and that was during the Holocaust. So they also celebrate that. According to the fact that God had made that promise, let me just show that promise here. The verse, it's in Genesis 12:3. And I'll bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curses thee, and these shall all families of the earth be blessed. So I just wanted a little bit of background on this. Okay, Esther 9:29. Then Esther the queen and the daughter of Abihail and Mordecai the Jew wrote with all authority to confirm this second letter of Purim. And he sent the letters to all the Jews to the 127 provinces of the kingdom of Xerxes with words of peace and truth. And to confirm these days of Purim and their times appointed, accordingly as the Mordecai the Jew and Esther the queen had enjoined them, as they had a decree for themselves and for their seed, the matters of the fastings and their cry. And if you remember the fastings, that was the clue that they were to pray to seek God's guidance on this. But you notice they didn't mention the word God or even prayer for that matter. So it was hidden. And that was the whole theme of this, is that it's hidden. So now the kids say, I'm going to show you some pictures of the festivals here in a minute. Because this is a refresher over in Esther 4:16. Go gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me. This is what Queen Esther had everybody do. And neither eat nor drink 3 days, nights or day. I also, my maidens, will fast likewise. And so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish. She was willing to put her life on the line for her people in this case. Esther 9:32. And the decree of Esther confirmed these matters of Purim, and it was written in the book. Jumping into chapter 10, verse 1. And the king Xerxes laid a tribute upon the land and upon the isles of the sea, and all the acts of his power and of his might, and the declaration of the greatness of Mordecai, whereupon the king advanced him, are they not written in the book of the chronicles of the kings of the Medes and Persians? For Mordecai the Jew was next unto King Xerxes, and great among the Jews, and accepted of the multitude of his brethren, seeking the wealth of his people, and speaking peace to all his seed. So let me just show you some other things about Purim, some of the things they do. And typically in the family unit, they have a series of prayers they do. There's 3 prayers the Jews pray at the time of the Feast of Purim. And I love the thought behind these prayers. So they're good examples of how we should pray too. In the first prayer, they will thank Jehovah that they are counted worthy. In the second prayer, they thank him for preserving their ancestors. And in the third prayer, they thank him that they have lived to enjoy another festival. So let me show you some pictures of how the kids and people sometimes dress. And let's see. Here's some of the pictures, some kids dressed up. Looks very, very similar to how we would dress for any kind of a costume contest. I hate to use the word Halloween, but it's the closest thing we got to it. But it has a totally different meaning, where Halloween is totally about evil. It's about a celebration of Satan, which I'm totally against. But this one here is kind of fun, and it has a totally different meaning because it's to celebrate that through Esther's hidden ability as a Jewish woman, I was able to save the Jews from annihilation during a genocidal attack by Haman. And so some of the things you'll see as a family here, and they're all dressed up. Maybe that young boy is trying to make himself look like Mordecai, because Mordecai, remember, he dressed in really flashy clothes with blues and purples and stuff. There's some others, old man blowing a horn. Some other families, I see them all dressed up. See the young boy again in blue, kind of make himself look like Mordecai. And there's some young men dressed up for the festival. And another family. Going to the Purim festival. Here's some other kids who dressed up, ready for the festival. And that's all I really had. So that's and it's okay to tell. Oh, and I brought this up because you see that little cookie-looking thing there. That's actually a traditional treat that's served at Purim. I forgot the name of it. It starts with an H, but it's usually given out pretty freely. It's got like almost like a date-looking mixture inside, like a fruit of some sort. And supposedly it's in the form of a Haman hat. That the hat is shaped a little bit like what would Haman have worn in that time frame. So, so that's where we're going to end today. A little bit shorter than usual, and that ends Esther. And talking to the pastor and praying about it, and it sounds exciting to me. We're going to head into John next week. I'll start a study of John, and see where that leads us. And it'd be a good basic if you have any new folks that are trying to learn more about Jesus and understand what it's like to follow the Lord, or even non-believers. John is a great book to study, and so have them join in or let them know about it, that maybe it might help others to understand better. And so we'll start that on Monday. And this being Friday, stay tuned for our See You Sunday at services. The pastor will continue in his studies, and have Sunday school at 9 o'clock. I'll be teaching Daniel again, and we're heading into the chapter 3 in Daniel. And then I don't know what the pastor has yet. He usually lets me know sometime this afternoon that or Saturday sometime. But I'll be putting that up on Facebook, and we'll see you Sunday. And of course, our services are 9 and 10 o'clock, and our evening service at 5 o'clock. So I hope you have a great day and a great Saturday, and we'll talk to you again on Monday.